Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Michelle and I make videos about books. I am literally a huge bookworm, so this is literally me talking to you about books. Recently, I had a birthday and one of my family members was very kind to gift me some money, so I did what any good bookworm would do, beelined it to my favorite bookstore. And in my own defense, I happen to live closer to the bookstore than I do to the library. So although I have resolved this year in 2025 to read books on my TBR, as you can see the shelf behind me, as well as stick to library books. Now, last year, I got my very first library card and I found it actually helped me read more and read things that were not on my radar. So I do want to continue with library books this year and make a concerted effort to not only read more from the library, read more diversely, but also to save money. I don't know, I've seen people on YouTube doing these massive book hauls and I always wonder how they afford it, but I'm happy for them, good for them, you know, that they can afford to go book shopping because it's awesome, I love it. But me personally, I can't really afford to keep buying books, so I keep it for special occasions such as my birthday. That said, on with the show. I want to show you what I picked up. I think a couple of these I had heard of before, a couple I had not. I just randomly browsed, looked at covers that appealed to me, read a little bit of the first couple of paragraphs, and that's how I usually pick books when I'm just out shopping at random. So the first one I have is called Worry by Alexandra Tanner. Now, this book here was one of the staff picks, which I also love. I love getting book recommendations when I'm in the store, and I love seeing the little stickers. So Chris here recommended this one. This is a adult contemporary novel. I think it came out last year, or maybe the year before. Anyway, it focuses on two sisters. They have a very dysfunctional relationship. I think it also takes place in New York City. Anyway, one of the sisters shows up at the apartment of the older sister, needing a place to stay. She's having an allergic reaction, but she doesn't know, and her life is a bit of a mess, so she moves in with her older sister. I believe her name is Jules. Yes, and the two of them navigate life together. It's a dark comedy. It's meant to be very funny. As a contemporary novel, it's set in the modern day. And they also have a mother who has unfortunately fallen down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories. So they're dealing with that. I'll just read you the little blurb here. It says that this is a deadpan, dark, and brilliantly funny book where two sisters are enduring a dread-filled American moment from a nervy new voice in contemporary fiction. So that is Worry by Alexandra Tanner. It sounds really good. Can't wait to get into this one. I hope to have some laugh out loud moments, maybe some really touching moments, and I love really vivid characters, so this should be a good one. Next on my radar here is a book called Poor Dear by Claire Oshetsky. I don't know if you can see that. This book here, I had seen an interview with this author on YouTube somewhere, and it just sounded like a really compelling book. In this book, we follow a child named Margaret who has suffered some kind of tragedy. Her friend Agnes was killed. I don't know how yet, but anyway, this focuses on Margaret as she's coming to terms with this tragedy, trying to be a kid and still live her childhood as normal while mentally grappling with what happened. And in doing so, her imagination starts to take over and she almost starts to develop an imaginary friend who comes into her mind named Poor Dear. Now, as the story goes, Poor Dear, this creature that she has invented in order to cope with her grief, becomes more of a central figure and has more influence over Margaret and wants her to atone for whatever happened. This sounds really interesting, really fable-like quality to it with the creature of Poor Dear as well as little Margaret, and kind of like a childhood fairy tale almost, but yeah, this sounded really good. And I can't wait to see what happens with little Margaret and how poor dear is going to make her repent or atone for whatever it is that happened. So yeah, Claire Oshetsky, Poor Dear. The next book I have here is called The Alternatives by Kaylin Hughes. I was instantly drawn to this book because I read in the synopsis that this is set in the Irish countryside. This is a literary fiction mystery story which centers around 4 sisters. They're all in their 30s. They're all very accomplished. They all have PhDs, very successful in their careers. When the eldest sister, I can't remember her name offhand, but she is a geologist and she is working on some kind of environmental project when she all of a sudden goes missing. We don't know if she's been abducted or if she deliberately has run away or what happened to her. But her other 3 sisters all converge to the Irish countryside where they're from in order to solve the mystery of her disappearance. This book here has been blurbed by the likes of Hernan Diaz, who wrote a book called Trust that was very popular a couple years ago, as well as Rumaan Alam, who I really enjoyed Leave the World Behind, as well as his other new one that I haven't read yet. It's on my TBR. Anyway, this sounds like a really enjoyable family drama type of book set in rural Ireland. So, I mean, how could you go wrong with that? Love the cover art too. So, Kaylin Hughes, The Alternatives. Can't wait to read that one. And now this is a random pick that I came across in the store called, I was instantly drawn to this cover. It's called The Blob, A Love Story by Maggie Sue. This focuses on a woman, I believe, who, it might help if I held it right side up. A woman who one day discovers a gelatinous blob on the sidewalk, which appears to have 2 little black dots that she figures look like eyes. She's been through some kind of trauma, but I don't know. She takes this blob home. She starts to feed it cereal. Gradually, slowly, it starts to develop sentience. It starts to take on human attributes. Eventually, this blob that she randomly found on the street grows into a fully developed Caucasian male who happens to be very handsome. And the story goes from there. This is just what I've gotten from the synopsis. It sounds weird. It sounds very contemporary. It sounds like it's written in a very fast-paced manner. I'm sure it's not a very long book, but yeah, this is a story that blends the familiar with the surreal. Blob is a witty, heartfelt story about the search for love and self and what it means to be human. So yeah, I'm thinking this might be along kind of the veins of that Annie Bot book by Sierra Greer. Is that her name? That came out last year that was really popular. Anyway, it sounded fascinating to me. It sounds pretty, it might demand a lot of surrendering my disbelief, but I'm here for it. I love this kind of a weird, quirky book. So yeah, Blob by Maggie Sue. The next one I picked up here, I was drawn to the cover and the title, King of the Armadillos. I thought, what the heck could this possibly mean? There looks like there is some kind of an institution on the cover of this book. Wendy Chin Tanner is the author. And this book, we follow a man named Victor, whose life is turned upside down when he is diagnosed, unfortunately, with Hansen's disease, which is what we now call leprosy. He goes to a government-sanctioned leprosarium located in the deep south, I believe in Louisiana, and he encounters all kinds of fascinating characters who are also have this disease. They're all in there, and something happens. He changes as a person. It's kind of about his own journey from being diagnosed with this horrible disease to meeting all these people who help him to grow and change. And yeah, that's all I can really get from this for now. he's thinking about his family back in China. He's a Chinese immigrant. So yeah, it sounds like a really compelling read. I cannot imagine having to live that way, being stuck in an institution, having this life-threatening illness, and kind of healing through your community and the people you meet around you that help lift you up and help you to get some things clear in your own head. So yeah, King of the Armadillos by Wendy Chin Tanner. Sounds like a fascinating read. I don't know if I've done it justice by describing it, but let me just see here. I usually read a couple sentences. Yeah, I pretty much, I think that covers it. It really doesn't say too much about it, but yeah, I just thought it sounded really interesting. So there you have it, my birthday books that I plan to read very soon. I will be continuing on with the book I'm reading this week. I might post a review at a later time if it's really good. I aspire on this channel to really mostly only share things I love or really like. I don't want to occupy anybody's time or attention with things that I just find mediocre or mid or blah or that I don't really like. So yeah, I'll be mostly focusing on books I either love, like, or absolutely hate. To me, that's the most interesting type of video to watch, and that's what I want to make for you. So thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.